Welcome back to Fitness Manifesto. I am one of your hosts, Kim, and joining me is
Justin. Welcome to this new show that we've started, which focuses on life, awesomeness, friendship, and fitness as a whole. What's come to the surface for me recently in particular too is I've had some really interesting conversations with people that I've had a guy that came into my life. I hadn't talked to him for almost a decade. He reached out in 2015, but we really didn't talk a whole lot for almost a decade. And I've had some people come back into my life and stuff like that recently that it's been nice to hear some of the things they're going through. And I guess this was the first that was the catalyst to me that reached out. And I mean, he was just told me that story right off the bat. He led with it. He didn't build himself up. And then all of a sudden, hey, I got to tell you something. It was just, I really want to talk to you about this. And what it felt to me was a great connection. And especially because we're in at the most disruptive time in humanity right now. And no one seems to really realize that. They don't understand how fast things are changing, what is changing. It's insane. And the human body can't absorb that. Right. Millennia, not over days. And you just can't come. Everyone's going through something is what I'm trying to say. And so having you go through this, and I'm going through stuff too on certain ends, I think it's important that we address some of these things because it's not only relatable, but it's also helps people to understand that, look, one, it's great to talk about it. Two, it's nice to know that someone else is going through it, whether you've got MS or you're struggling. And let's say we lost out on a huge contract a few weeks ago. That sucks. But I'm sorry, Blake, you can bleep that out. But it's things like that I think are going
relatable.
Like for here's another example if we want to be real. So I had not a neighbor, but one of Kelly's best friends in the neighborhood. Her husband reached out he wanted a bunch of shirts made. It was 55 of another. It was on a Friday. So I put my team on it. We didn't even quote it. We just did raw designs. We sent raw designs over to him and said, hey, look, are we on the right track? He said, well, we want this on the back. So I sent him over something on the back too, if they wanted. I didn't hear anything for a week. So I followed up on Monday. It might have actually been yesterday. I can't remember. And I said, hey, what's the deal with this? And he goes, he's a military guy. So everything is one-liners. He's like, stand by. It was Monday. That was Monday evening because I found out yesterday. So then yesterday he texts, he goes, we're going to pass. And I'm like, hang on a second. First of all, I didn't know we were up against anybody. Two, I didn't quote you. How can you pass if you don't even know how much you're going to pay? So long story short, he took the design that we did, sent it to China, and they're going to use everything that we put together in China for $6 a shirt. And I was so hurt by that. It really hit me raw. A friend would even do that. And so I think stories like that are relatable and important, especially as we're going through this thing to hear. And so that's kind of where I wanted to go, is a little bit deeper on those levels, deeper below the surface in terms of get us even more relatable because we're awesome.
Right. Absolutely.
Without a doubt. But also talk about it from the standpoint of some of those setbacks that were totally unexpected. I will tell you, I was so mad. And the worst part was last night, Bailey had cheer tryouts. I had to sit next to this dude. I literally sat next to him the whole time. And it took everything inside not to just be boom, it's just a quick,
What did you ask him?
No. So when I get hurt like that, I become less gregarious, and I just basically sat next to him. And the way I get back at people like that, I shunned him. So he looked over and I turned my back. I'm that passive aggressive guy to I want you to know that I'm mad, but I also know that if you were to do this again, it's not going to end well for either of us. I'm going to drown, I mean, the nuclear bomb is going to go off because I'm going to allow you to do it once. There will not be a second time. And I'm very protective of people that I bring into my life. And so it was tough.
Well, stuff like that can destroy a relationship anyway.
Absolutely. And to Kelly's credit, she was great. She's like, yeah, let's not do anything with them again. I'm like, perfect. But unfortunately our daughters are the same age and they happen to be trying out at the same time. And it is what it is. I think stuff like that is a fun story to talk about because part of fitness as a whole is, we talked about this, I don't know, episode 12 or whatever, mental fitness.
Right.
I think the flexibility of understanding that, yeah, those situations suck. Yeah, they're going to come up. The worst part is they catch you totally blindsided. It's never one of those things. It's never those times when you're like, you know what? This is a great time for something shitty to happen.
Yeah, nope, I get that.
To go back to what spawned this originally was seeing you in the brace and watching you, because we've been to lunch, I think 3 times since you originally got.
Yes.
And I've noticed the progression in there of it in terms of at first it was more it's here to help me. And now this last time was the first time it was really awesome to see you say this sucked.
I hate it.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
I hate it. And I mean, to be totally honest with you, I'm really struggling with it. Even having to wear it, it puts my foot to sleep.
wait, so explain. So just because I don't understand entirely. So I thought originally the reason you got it was because your foot was already going to sleep. Is that
No, I got a bug flying at me. No, I got it because with the MS, I have what's called foot drop. Normal feet, when you lift it up, they lift straight, right? Mine lifts like this. So I trip over my foot because it doesn't fully lift up. It sucks. I mean, I know. You say I really shelter it, and the cup is always full on my end, but it sucks entirely. I had to put a brace on because I trip over my foot. So what the brace does, there's a full plate underneath my foot, and then it straps below my knee, about my calf area. Something there, my foot goes to sleep after I wear it for 15 minutes. I mean, like crazy goes to sleep. I'll try to pull my foot out. If we're somewhere, I'll just kind of slide it a little bit out of my shoe to kind of get feeling back in my toes. But then when I have to put it on, I mean, it gets so asleep that that feeling that it hurts. That's what it's like. I can't wait to get home to get it off. I've been back to get it adjusted, and they don't know what's causing my foot to go to sleep. They said they've never had to deal with something like that. They thought it was a nerve in my calf, so we shaved it down to make it shorter, and it's not. It still goes to sleep rather quickly. It is extremely frustrating that I have to wear it. I don't like it. I have been so frustrated by all of it that honestly, I haven't clipped in and rode on my Peloton in weeks. And I'll tell you, since I stopped being an instructor, I haven't even cared to. And it's not a good feeling. I mean, honestly, I've been doing some strength training, but I'm just extremely frustrated by all of it. I've been doing the strength training and trying to get over the hump, and it's just not, it's hard. I'm in a rut, and to say that I'm slowly coming out of it would be false. So, I mean,
and I think that, I mean, first of all, what I always find is that when I'm able to admit it, I know that I'm not consumed by it. And I really appreciate you sharing that. And I think that, maybe once a month, we record an episode of, we call it the raw, the real, the real, whatever's bothering us. We kind of talk through it because I think it's kind of fun because one, it's important. Two, it's a great way to support each other. And three, it's nice to share with people because sometimes people don't, even if you're talking to people, they don't talk this way a lot of the time, right? Most people don't. It's surface level friends. And so I mean, I cherish our friendship so much because of this. And I think you're just an amazing individual and just awesome. I'm very lucky to know you. And
well, I feel the same about you.
What happened to me on Thursday was, so we went to lunch on Thursday, had the greatest time. I was having a great afternoon. I was crushing it. My entire day, Thursday was like one of those days that you want to put in your book and say, F yeah, I crushed today, right? So it's 8:00 at night and I'm wrapping up. Everything's done. I had nothing else to do. We're upstairs and we're getting ready. Seth and I were going to watch, I think we're going to watch Ted Lasso or something. Anyways, we're going to watch something up there together and we're chilling. And all of a sudden, I don't know why I did this. I usually turn my phone off around 7:30. Okay. I didn't. And all of a sudden, shame on me. I didn't follow my own rules. And this is where the whole thing unravels. At 8:00, I get this text from a buddy of mine saying, I don't understand what's going on with Mother's Day. And so to put it in perspective for you, for Kelly's Mother's Day, I always try to do something special in terms of a brunch or something like that to do whatever, to get her out of the house and she can give her the day and I take the kids and we do whatever. And so this year, a couple of her friends wanted to do something. And so as a surprise to her, I set it up in the background. I made the reservations. I organized all the transportation. I did everything. All people had to do was say, are they going or not? That was it. And it was like 5 people total. It's not a huge group. It's very intimate, close friends. So long story short, basically the whole thing blew up. Ladies started getting mad and there were rumors flying. And this idea of this thing that I put together that I was so excited and proud of, like, hey, look, I'm crushing being a dad and a husband, blew up. And these women, people that weren't invited, got upset. People didn't understand why it was a surprise. And there were people that were upset it was a surprise. So why can't they talk about it? And they got nervous. Why can't we talk about it? There was a woman that asked to go originally, and then she said no. And then she got quote unquote FOMO. She put it in a text, said she had FOMO. And I created space for her and let her go. And basically the whole thing devolved into this cluster. And I was furious Thursday night. I mean, I was so mad. I didn't go to bed till midnight. I'm like, how does this go wrong?
That's very different from you because usually you're in bed early.
Oh, absolutely. it was horrible. And I was mad because was helping me set it up. Okay. And his wife was basically not being as supportive either. And I'm just like, what is going on? All this is Mother's Day brunch. How are people's feelings hurt? I don't understand what's happening here. How did this devolve so quickly? And I was really, I was, to use the term, I don't use this lightly. I was devastatedly mad. Like, I finally just said, fine, you guys do it. I'm done. I'm not planning anymore. I was upset because it wasn't a surprise anymore for Kelly. I'm upset that these women are mad. I'm upset that, like, oh, the worst part about it was a couple of the guys, their wives, they were going to make it a surprise for their wives too, but they don't have good communication. So when their wives found out through back channels that they were going and they didn't know they were going, they got upset. Those guys sold me out by saying, Justin said, don't tell anybody. And so finally, I created a whole group chain and I posted every conversation I had with each of them in there. I was so mad to call them out. I'm like, I didn't do anything. Here's every conversation we've had on this. You guys have to swallow your pride and man up. I'm not going to be the scapegoat because you can't hold your own relationship together. Was it the right thing to do? Probably not in hindsight. I'm not that type of person usually, but I was really hurt and it sucked. And it took me, I wasn't over this till probably Monday, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not saying it was my finest moment.
Okay.
I'm just saying I was in a really upset state. And would I do that again? Absolutely not. But I think that part of it is it just caught me
the heat of the moment too. You reacted because you were upset.
And that was the problem. I reacted so quick. Like, usually my rule of thumb is digest it for a few hours. Like, don't even respond. But I felt like I was being so attacked for something that I didn't understand. Like, it was brunch. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. All it was brunch. That was it. My crime here was I tried to make a nice day. And I got so mad at everybody. And I guess part of it too was the fact that I came off this great day of having such a fun time. And then I felt like someone was trying to ruin it. It just sucked. And so I think part of what spawned today's conversation was all these things too, that I think that these are relatable moments. People are going to let other people down at some point in time. You're going to feel, hurt. And knowing that someone else has been through this sometimes can really help you. And talking about it, like, I am not usually a big talker, but this instance, I'm crazy talking about it. Like, because I don't want it to precipitate again. I think it's so dumb. I'm going to laugh at it at some point. I'm smiling a little bit.
Right.
I'm still not.
But do you think the reason that it happened was because you didn't talk about it?
Make sure I understand. You mean my reaction to it, the way I handled it?
Yeah.
So no, I think that was, no, I would, because I did talk about it in terms of, I made sure everyone knew how I felt. Like, I was out.
What about the other husbands? They knew what was going on. So why did they push it back on you, saying you were the one at fault?
Honestly, I've stopped asking that question because I don't want to get involved in that world, right? Like, this was
okay.
So that, to put it that way, like, I've stopped asking, like, why did this woman act this way? Why did this dude do this? Whatever. Like,
you can't control them.
Exactly. And so what I've decided to do instead is re-examine, why did I handle it the way I did? Why did I not take a break? So when I sent that the first time, why did that trigger me to be so angry right off the bat? And part of it was, it's so black and white. Like, when you see the text, it wasn't like, hey, I'm like, this is the plan. This is where they're going. This is what you're doing. This is who's driving. Do you want to go or not? You can tell your wives anything. Please keep it a secret to Kelly. And part of it built up too, because last year I did something for Kelly. It was going to be really small because it was still kind of COVID-y, coming out of COVID-y times and whatever. And so it was just one of her closest friends and whatever. And she's driving to the restaurant to meet her, and her friend cancels because her husband wouldn't let her go. But I was like, I'm not going to let this happen again. I'm going to nip this in the bud. I planned it, 5 weeks in advance. This is going to work great. And it just went to hell. But
you would think, wouldn't their husbands want this, that you had planned this and that they knew about it to surprise them? Why?
Let me tell you, I'm going to read a text from one of the guys when I asked him, hey, if you want to go, this is what I said, just so you guys understand. Here's how the text chain went. This is what I said. Hey, dude, this is Justin. I'm setting up brunch for Mother's Day and wanted to see if blank was interested in going. I'm trying to keep it a surprise for Kel, but you are free to tell blank if you want. Let me know. I have 2 spots left. This is his response. I would love to, but not sure what we've got going on that day just yet. Kids, activities, etc. Unfortunately, baseball doesn't take weekends or Mother's Day off. So that's the thing I'm dealing with. And so he eventually came back and said, we'd love to do it, whatever. And he was one of the guys that was trying to surprise his wife. And I guess everything went to hell. So the good news of this is a few of the women have reached out and said, look, we're really sorry. You actually are the hero. Like, you were really trying to do something nice here. We completely misunderstood and we're sorry. So that made me feel a little bit better. But at the same time, am I cool with it? No, I'm still baffled. I'm still, and I think you can hear this, like how a brunch turned into a shit show. I'm out of words, but that's what's going on right now.
Oh, well, especially because Mother's Day is Sunday.
And for all your mothers out there, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Absolutely.
I'm sure this is going to air way after that, but realize we did wish you all a happy Mother's Day.
Yes, we hope you have a great day.
And happy Mother's Day, Kim. But
happy Mother's Day to Kel too.
Please realize I am not comparing this to your foot at all, but I am.
Oh my gosh, I didn't take it that way.
No, but I mean, like my recovery here is I'm still on edge, like I'm still cautious around it. It's like, all right, you people, we'll see what happens here.
Well, you'll have to let us know how it turns out.
I'm sure there will be stories.
So you didn't cancel altogether?
No, basically the summarization of it all came down to this. I said, Kel, I'm done. I'm not handling this anymore. Like mentally, this is too insane for me. I don't want to deal with these people, but here's all the details. I have taken care of everything. You guys just go. But I will tell you, one of the funny stories that came out of this was one of the women on the text chain. This is written, people. It's in writing. So it's out in the universe now. Okay. The text chain went along and I was asking, does anybody want to drive? And one of the women pipes up and goes, I'd love to, but my husband just reminded me I can't. And I'm like, well, that piqued my interest. So why can't you? And she goes, well, all I have to say is it has to deal with I won't give the state, but it had to deal with a certain state and their very harsh DWI policy. The follow-up was it rolls off next year. So, again, I'm not going to dig into this, but all I'm going to say is these things keep coming to the surface and I'm just scratching my head going, I have no comeback for any of these things.
You didn't want her to drive anyway.
But I didn't know that until so there are some funny moments from this whole thing, but those were last couple of days, it seemed to be quite a few of those things that just happened like back to back that were just like WTF. And it was funny because I was asking Blake, she's very into the spiritual stuff. And I was like, so is Mercury in retrograde? I just have to ask. That's my go-to, like if anything weird happens, it's a full moon or Mercury's in retrograde. And she goes, you know what? I do think Mercury's in retrograde. So I'm like, F you, Mercury. So I'm not sure.
That's funny.
I don't know what I believe in that world, but there seems to be some truth to it these last couple of days.
Well, I know full moon is a real thing. I worked for the state and that's when they all came out and made phone calls. People you haven't even heard from in years. They would just show up.
Which is what you want.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you did. You really wanted that, but they weren't always in the best of form, I guess you could say.
So like these ladies. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I mean, based on what you heard, it's insane, right?
Yes. It's crazy that they took it that way. Here you were trying to do something nice for your wife and you opened the invitation up to all these other women and in the end you got creamed for it. That's you planned everything.
That was my whole thing. I didn't want it to be a burden on anybody. And I only a few really all these women that all know each other that are very tight. So it was meant to be very simple and easy, right? No one's meeting someone for the first time. It's just easy. And so apparently that is not the case. Is
that ever a case when it comes to that type of stuff?
I don't know.
I think your silence says everything.
I guess I'm hopeful that it shouldn't be, but is that the case? Not always, not at all. So that was the best part too. So on Monday, also Kelly's been placing me with a lot of these larger bills recently. She just is oh, this month. I'm like, oh my God, what? Why did you tell me about this? This would have been nice to have some foresight too, right? Just get a heads up on it. I'm already there. And on Monday I went to the dentist and I couldn't help but laugh because I'm at the dentist and I'm getting ready to check out and everyone's, we're talking, having a good time. And she goes, oh, you owe 11:30. And I'm like, for what? I don't owe anything. It's teeth cleaning. She's like, oh, no.
I know that's not $11.30 at the dentist.
That's what I said. I'm like, what? So anyways, long story short, it was part of Kelly's bill that she had not paid. So I start texting Kelly. I'm like, I cannot handle any more of these. How are you the only person that seems to have these weird bills that pop up? This doesn't happen to me. You never go anywhere and they're like, oh, here's part of Justin's bill. So anyways, she went to the dentist today, right? And she had to get a new mouth guard. And again, I think it's a total racket. Like this is, if you're a dentist out there, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to call bullshit on this. A plastic little tiny thing that you can print yourself should not cost you $500. And I'm like, that is a ripoff.
No.
Like, I know the markup on that is so high. And I know that dentists don't get paid a lot because of insurance, so they have to make it up with cash things. But maybe we should reevaluate this, how to do things, because that is insane.
Well, and I mean, even if you have dental insurance, why is dental insurance never good? Why?
Even the best, like we have quote unquote the best insurance, you know, like whatever. I'm sure you do too. Like they always say, like this is the premium package or whatever. Okay, you get a cleaning,
Right.
and you get like a discount on a cavity, you get a discount like whatever.
Yeah. You get, what is it, like $1,200 for life for like orthodontal stuff? I'm like, I don't even think that covers a bracket if you have to get braces. Seriously?
It's insane. So all those things have been piling up. So what I told Kelly was, I said, look, she did do something great the other day. So yesterday, Bailey had gotten up late in the night on Monday, and so she didn't sleep well, right? So I was like, you know what? I said, because Monday she starts hitting me with some of these bills. I'm like, Kelly, first of all, I don't like starting Monday with bills. Two, you've got to come with me at some point in time, start my day with something positive. So
Okay.
I went to Starbucks to get her a coffee to help, like, because she didn't sleep well. We literally pull in yesterday in the garage in the same time because it was raining, as you know. So she drove the kids to school. So we pull in literally at the same time. And she looks at me and she goes, did you go to Starbucks? And I go, yeah. And she goes, but I went to Starbucks. And we both bought each other the same thing. So this morning we got to have Starbucks again because we literally bought the same thing for each other, which I thought was very sweet. She's like, I was trying to make your day. And I'm like, I'm trying to make your day. So it was a stupid mistake, not a mistake, but it was one of those like fun, dumb things. Trying to do the right thing. But again, it's not going well.
You guys were on the same wavelength there.
But we weren't. You see what I'm going? Like we're on the same.
Well, kind of.
Our cycles had synced, but not all the way.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you what I did the other day. And like, I am super excited for it. And it's the funny things that when you get older that you get excited about. Are you ready?
I'm terrified. Like you're going to go knitting or something. What?
Knitting? No, I've done that before. But I bought a new vacuum cleaner.
Hey, actually, now hang on. High five to you.
Yeah.
And I know that we looked at Shark and Dice and everything. So tell me about it. What is it?
I ended up getting the Shark.
Okay. And why?
I did the Shark Stratos, and I was looking at reviews, and I had texted one of my sister-in-laws. I'm like, what's the best Shark vacuum? Because she likes Shark. She's always had Shark, and she sent me one. I think it was a Shark Vortex, I think is what it was. And I started looking at that one. And then I had texted another one of my sister-in-laws who is like, they're both extremely, extremely clean people. But this one, I mean, you could like eat off of her floor. Her house is so spotless. I mean, and it's been like that. Even her children's room, she would go clean it, which both of my sister-in-laws are very, very clean. But I had texted her and said, okay, what's the best vacuum cleaner? Because she was always Dyson. She had gotten a new Dyson and she hates it entirely. She's like, the suctions in there. I'm like, okay. So I looked up the one sister-in-law, the reviews on her vacuum cleaner, and got on, and I started comparing them to all the other ones and started watching reviews. I mean, like this was a couple weeks going on here. Ted's like, Kim, it's a vacuum. Pick one.
Thank you, Ted.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But I wanted one to do carpet. I wanted one to do like the hard floor. So after watching the reviews and reading what people are saying, I made a decision and I ordered it, and it will be here Friday, and I cannot wait. So when it gets here, what I'm going to do is I have a Dyson Animal right now. And one thing I didn't know is you are supposed to replace vacuums like every 5 years.
Hey, you told me that. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. And I was like, oh my gosh, we've had our Dyson for like 12, if not 13. I mean, it's been a hot minute. So I'm going to line them up and I'm going to vacuum everything with my Dyson. And then I'm going to go back through with my Shark, and I'm going to see how much more it picks up. But one of my biggest kickers with the Shark was, you know how on normal vacuum cleaners, long hair gets wrapped up in it and you got to cut it out. It looks like you have an animal wrapped around your vacuum brush. I mean, it's gross. So I was just doing that recently. And so talking to the one sister-in-law, she goes, for long hair, it doesn't do that. It goes into the container. You don't ever have to cut the hair out. So that's what made me start really researching it because it's me, Abba, and then, T's hair is long too. I can't wait to try it because I don't want to cut hair out of a vacuum roll. I don't need another pet sitting next to my vacuum cleaner. See?
Now, I don't know if this is congratulations, first off.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's an age thing because I'm not going to lie. We got a new vacuum, I think it was during Black Friday or Cyber Monday, one of those deals. And we got a
Okay.
I do want to get a Shark. I like ours, not in love with it, but I was incredibly excited to get it because it is fun to see like, okay, what can I suck up with this thing? What does it do? And it is incredible. Like one thing I do notice, even a semi-decent vacuum, a new one, it will suck up things and then you'll look at it and you're like, oh, that was on my floor. Like, oh God, what is, you're like, how's it? My carpet's not even gray, but you ever notice everything it sucks up is gray?
Yes.
So hang on, if you're a physicist or you are a biologist of some kind, please explain to me, any color carpet will still come out gray. What is, maybe we don't want to know. If it's too gross, don't tell us, but please,
oh, yes.
why is it? I'm dying to know, why is it all gray? It's so weird to me.
I would love to rip all the all the carpet out of my house and put all hardwood in. I would love to do it, but Ted is very anti that. He goes, the one thing I don't want to do is get out of bed and put my feet on a cold floor. He's like, I'm not interested, but I'm going, well, we could do the big rugs. And he's like, no. So I'm like, okay, carpet in the bedrooms and hardwood or tile everywhere else in the house. And he's like, no. I'm like, ugh.
That's literally Kelly, literally, because when we got our house, I was like, I wanted hardwood. Like we have, as you've seen our house, we've got tile in the whatever living common areas, whatever that's called. And then everywhere else is carpet. And I was like, I wanted to have hardwood in the rooms. And she was like, exactly the same thing. She's like, imagine a cold winter's day. I'm like, well, we have 2 of those a year. Okay. And she's like,
well, that's why you get a big rug, right?
Well, but also I think they look better. Anyway,
I agree.
She not having it.
Growing up with our allergies and asthma in my parents' house, we ripped out all the carpet and put hardwood. And actually in our basement up in Wyoming, they did like a cork floor. Have you ever seen a cork floor? They're like crazy cool. And they're not.
You mean like
they're
cork,
kind of
like cork, like wood?
Yeah, like cork. It's a little squishy. It's really, really cool. I'll show you a picture of what their floor looked like.
Sorry, just real quick. Is it? I've never seen a cork floor. No. Is it like strong? Does it last? Like, will it stand the test of time?
Yeah. Yep, it will. And they did it because it was in the basement and with the hardwood. I don't remember what it was about putting the hardwood down there. I don't remember why they were discouraged not to. But yeah, it was awesome. And we had the big rugs and it looks cleaner to me.
I totally agree. And as we get ready to wrap up here today, I do have to tell you, I just noticed something here. We both record outside. We are, I think we've talked about this before, 1.5 miles apart, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm wearing we're wearing short, like, it's not a tank top. I don't know what they call that.
It is a tank top. And actually, it's a Peloton shirt. I just have to say.
You got great taste. And I just realized that I can't stop giggling because I'm like, perfect. And I'm looking at you going, well, I wonder if I should take off my coat. Like, is it because it was downpouring when we started this thing. I mean, torrential tropical rain. Off
and on though, it has been raining, like really coming down, but it's not right now, but it was very like a gentle rain, but it's 71 degrees outside. But what is it with humidity? Do you have a guess on? I know our humidity is like crazy high right now.
I'm gonna guess it's 69.
75.
Oh, well, that's crap.
95% humidity.
Again, I don't know how it's not 100% because it's pouring rain. Well, not now. It's just cleared up a little bit, but we're expecting more.
Like a lot more. We're under an aerial flood watch. It's been raining here for days, and it's supposed to rain till Tuesday.
It's crazy. I don't know, because when you grow up on the West Coast, like it doesn't rain a lot over there unless you go north. I love rain. So like every time my mom, she's coming out in June and she is like terrified it's going to rain. I'm like, Mom, actually, if it doesn't rain for like a couple of weeks, like you need to worry. Like it's actually a bad thing here. It does need to rain very regularly. And
well,
I'm like, I hope it does.
I hope it does too. Like last summer, we didn't have any rain. It was hot.
Great episode. I really appreciate it, Kim. Thank you.
Justin, they're always good. And I guess to be raw every once in a while is okay.
We're going to have a psychiatrist analyze that facial expression at the end there. It's okay.
It's okay.
I'm going to tell myself it's okay, but it's not okay. Anyways.
It's just hard. The struggles that you have to go through that are life. You got to work through them, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's the important piece here is that acknowledging that they're going to happen, but realize that they're not permanent, right? And that you're going to work.
Well, maybe they are permanent.
Fair enough. You're right. Some are. Thank you, Kim. Have a great day. And thanks to our audience.
You too.
Forward, please comment below on crap going on in your life, because we'd love to share in this with you, and let's have a cathartic experience together. And that concludes today's episode of the Fitness
Manifesto. I know you guys enjoyed it.
And Kim, I want to say thank you to you and to our audience for making this podcast what it is.
Yes, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys.
And stay tuned for the next episode.